Rakib, how did this come about? Is the definition so broad now that you can actually, if you're a Sikh, Hindu or a Christian, you could experience Islamophobia?
Well, I think that what Angela Raynor is looking to do here is to create a truly inclusive definition of Islamophobia, a term I'm not especially happy with. I much prefer the term anti-Muslim hatred or anti-Muslim prejudice. Now, I understand the logic somewhat. In the early stages of the post-9/11 era in the United States, Sikhs were targeted and were the victims of violence, discrimination and harassment due to misidentification. They were attacked by people who believed that they were Muslim. So I do understand where Angela Raynor is coming from in terms of broadening out the definition. But I think the main problem I have here is that I think the Labour government is insecure over its relationship with British Muslims. It lost a great deal of British Muslim support in the last general election. I think that's primarily because of its positioning on Israel, Gaza. And I think that it's looking to rebuild support through the creation of this Islamophobia Council and the work it's going to do. But I really take issue with the fact that Labour has this tendency when it comes to engaging with different ethnic and religious communities. It does that through the prism of victimhood and grievance. And I think that we need to move away from that and try to form a more positive view of British society. Labour talks a great deal about how diversity has benefited Britain, but actually by taking this kind of route, it actually shows that, well, maybe diversity is not quite going exactly to plan.
I wonder if this sort of almost peculiar broadening of Islamophobia as a definition that can apply, well, by the looks of it, to anyone with non-white skin, perhaps that puts the lie to the idea that this is about Islamophobia at all. That's not about ideas or a religion or a text. That is people hating other people for the way they look. Why don't we call that what it is? Old-fashioned racism.
No, absolutely. I think you make a good point there, Tom. And many people also argue that we have existing legislation in place which covers all this. For example, we have the Racial and Religious Hatred Act, which was passed back in 2006. We have the 2010 Equality Act, where religion and religious belief is stated clearly as a protected characteristic. And I think that the risk here really is that if you start creating definitions of Islamophobia, now what's next? Will it be Hinduphobia? Will it be Sikhophobia? And I think that what the risk here is that you're creating some kind of grievance Olympics. And I think that will do more harm than good when it comes to our multi-faith society.